Hey folks, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to just do a quick run through of a piece that I worked on this morning. It's a montage piece. You're going to see two of those components figure in with this particular drawing, and you'll see the final reveal, which contains other elements that I did not record. But the way I approach these montage pieces, and a montage is basically a collection of dissimilar objects or people or things that are kind of put together into one composition, and it creates a narrative. And this is a really fun way to work, and it's takes a lot of pressure out from having to come up with a specific idea. I'll generally start by looking at various photo references that I find interesting across the web and social media. And in this particular case, I ran across this really cool Egyptian statue. And that's what I started out with. And as I continue through this, I use my Instagram feed. I use the save feature in Instagram quite a bit. I follow not only artists, but I follow a lot of vehicle posts and abandoned environment posts and things like that, just stuff that strikes my fancy. And I keep those as kind of a reserve for me in case I'm looking for something to draw. So that's one, I think, advantage of actually being on social media. You get a lot of really interesting content that comes towards you, and you can choose to keep those elements saved. So that's where I came across this Egyptian statue. It was on someone's Instagram feed. Thought it would be kind of cool to draw, so I did. And yeah, I think a lot of people struggle with ideas. They look at a blank canvas, they don't know what to draw. And usually what ends up happening is people draw what they're comfortable drawing. So if you like characters, you start off with drawing a character. Or if you like an environment, you start off drawing an environment. But the way I look at it is I like to push myself, and I like to draw things that are outside of my comfort zone because it's a learning opportunity. And I think that's the best way to grow as an artist, to stick with an attitude of, not being wedded to drawing the same thing over and over again. That's how you're going to improve. Rise to the challenge and see what's out there. And here I'm adding my black fills. Again, I like working in red because I feel like it's kind of a preliminary stage. I've noticed that when I work, I tend to clean up the preliminary stage and make that the final by just changing the colors from red to black. And if the drawing is fairly tight, then I can do that. If the drawing is fairly loose, I'll end up going back through and actually inking on top of my pencil layer. But in this particular case, I didn't find the need to do that. So I'm using shading and hatching to denote areas that are not quite black, mostly grayscale values. And this helps give some form to the statue so that it doesn't just look like it's flat. So leverage your social media feeds, save cool images, find ways of combining them, try, working in two different things. Later on, as you'll see me working through this, I add a vehicle in there. Now, when you put the vehicle next to the statue, it just creates an interesting story or a narrative. And that's one of the things that I'm trying to do with my work, to add some kind of an element of storytelling to what I create. The video that you're seeing here is sped up 400%. And here's where I'm drawing the vehicle. Again, this is something else that I found on my Instagram feed. It was a really unusual recreational vehicle. Looked pretty cool. It had really beefy tires. And so when I start drawing a vehicle, I think about the 2-point perspective. I make a box and, start from general shapes to details. I don't start in with details right away. Working with a box allows you to adjust your proportions and make corrections without having to do a lot of rework. And my sketching is generally fairly loose. Adding black fills really angers the drawing. It gives the drawing some, it kind of grounds the drawing really. Adding shadows also grounds objects in. So I always start with shape. I check my proportions, and then I go back through and I add my details. The details are really the last stage of the development process when I draw. Let me know if you'd like to see a live recording, a stream, if you will, as I work. That's just something that I've really considered, but I'm not sure what the response would be like. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see me do something like this in front of an audience where you can ask questions and interact with me. I'm very curious to know if that's something that the viewers would be interested in. So let me know. Here I'm adding a character just to go ahead and provide a sense of scale between the vehicle, statue. Like now I'm putting a background element that ties in the vehicle with the statue. And this gives us a sense of scale. And many times when I work, I'm kind of, feeling things out and just kind of running on instinct. It's not really planned. It's very much like an improvisational piece. And I've mentioned this a few times before. If I'm working on something specifically or for a client, then there's a lot more structure to it. But in this particular case, I'm just having some fun with it. So you'll see a quick reveal. I'm just closing out all my lines, and I will add color, and you'll see the final result here. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.